Shalom and Ahava, everybody. I'm here with Steve Martin from Love
Hello.
for His People, and we wanted to talk a little bit today about Israel. And Steve, why Israel?
Because Israel is the one that the Lord has chosen not only for his people, but also he has written his name on the city of Jerusalem. And all throughout the Bible, from the beginning to the end, Israel has always been the heart of the Lord. It's the apple of his eye.
It is, yeah.
And he is committed to bring his people back to the land. He's committed to watch over them, protect them. He's protected them all through these centuries, even at the hands of so-called Christians who wanted to kill them, persecute them, anything they could to keep them from knowing they were God.
And with that being said, so it goes clear back to Abraham.
It does.
It goes back to Abraham. And Abraham was the founding father of the Jewish people. And I want to read a little something here in Scripture. And we have basically, we have an Adamic covenant, which is God's covenant with Adam. We have a Noahic covenant, which is God's covenant with Noah. And then we have the Abrahamic covenant that God made with Abraham. And then we have the covenant that God made with Moses and the people of Israel. And then we have the new covenant. And the word covenant really means that everything that the one has is the other's, unreserved, nothing held back. It's complete. The covenant involves everything. And covenants were established down through time as a means of an agreement, a contract, if you want to say, between two parties. And so God has covenant with us, his people, in the new covenant through Yeshua Messiah. But likewise, these covenants from old are very important. And so, and this is Genesis 12, Bereshit, the book of beginnings. And it's 12, and we're going to start at verse 1. And the Lord said to Abram, "Go out from your your country, your people, and your father's household to the land which I will show you." And then here he is, he's making a covenant with them. "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples of the earth, all the goyim, all the nations, will be blessed through you." That's right. And so he establishes, the Lord himself establishes a covenant. And the word for blessing is barakah. Blessing is repeated here 5 times in this particular scripture. And it is a universal blessing. It's a blessing in all things, okay? But notice what he says. "I will curse those who curse you." So if you are an anti-Semitic person, you're not on the receiving blessing end of this deal, okay? And we know that anti-Semitism is rampant, and it's on the increase. And if you are a person that has people under you as a pastor, and you're teaching anti-Semitic things, it's not going to go well for you. No. The Lord himself says that here in this scripture. And we have to hold through to what he says. This is his word.
That's right.
And so, with that being said, Steve, do actual tangible blessings come to you if you're blessing Israel?
I learned this when I was, in the year 1979, I had gone to Mackinac Island, Michigan, with my wife, Lori. We went to the conference. We had 2 children at the time. And we heard a message by a well-known biblical teacher, Dr. Derek Prince. And he shared on our debt to Israel. And I'd not heard that before. I had not heard that as Christians, as believers, it's our debt that we owe to the people of Israel.
Yes.
The Jews, they gave us the Bible. Almost in its entirety is written by Jews. And the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, is Jew.
Yes.
And the apostles, all the ones who were sent out, are Jewish. And the first church, as they were called the Way in the Acts book in the New Testament, were primarily Jewish people. And so it is to them that we owe what we have as our Hebrew roots, our Christian roots. It's the Jewish people. And we need to provide for them now. We need to show our strength for them, our gratitude, not only in the natural, but also the physical by means of support.
Yeah.
And spiritually, we owe a debt to Israel and the Jews.
And so what you're saying is that this Derek taught this message that we as Christians have a place to bless them.
That's right.
We have to come into a place where we understand a blessing. So what Derek was teaching was quite a bit different than what had been taught down through the centuries, correct?
Well, a lot of churches had taught that because the Jews killed Jesus, that they had lost their place in God's heart, that they were no longer the chosen people, that the Christian church was now. We had replaced them. It's known as replacement theology, and it's simply wrong.
It's simply wrong. So it's an erred theology.
Correct.
And this is what led to a lot of the pogroms and things like that happened to the Jewish people over the period of the years. And when they were in the diaspora, after the Romans exiled them from their own country and said they couldn't even be in their own land to worship.
Correct.
And this is very evident. I mean, what's happened to the Roman Empire?
It's no longer there.
It's no longer there. Now we have other people that have.
The Spanish Empire.
Yep.
No longer there.
No longer there. Yeah.
The Spanish Inquisition, where they drove out the Jews, 1492. They said either you become a Catholic or we're going to basically kill you.
Yeah. And it talks in the book of Esther. It talks about another time. And over the years, there's been a lot of attempts to wipe out the Jewish people. And some of these people are no longer around. They're no longer have any strength as a country. And they've brought themselves into a place of being under a curse, as it says here in Scripture.
And even the British Empire in 1948, they stood against the coming together, the formation of the State of Israel. And at one time it was stated that the sun no longer does not set on the British Empire. That's how far and wide their influence was in the world. But after 1948, they stood against Israel, and now they are no more.
And then also what happened to the Arab nations that stood against Israel during that time frame, not only 1948, but 1967. So it's pretty evident to see that God's hand is not off the Jewish people.
Sure.
And so I would venture to say that Israel, truthfully, is our time clock. And if you rightly read Scripture and rightly read what it says, God has a great revival coming for the Jewish people, doesn't he?
He's bringing them back to the land as he promised. It's known as Aliyah. In Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, it talks about how he would disperse them because of their unwillingness to follow after him, walk in his ways. He sent them out from the land, but he promised he would bring them back. And that's exactly what he's doing now.
He is. And that's through Aliyah, where the people are coming back to the land. Aliyah means going up. And so people return to the land of Israel and make their home there. And you know, Steve, I've seen some things there when we've gone to visit. I mean, I picked up avocados in the shuk that are bigger than my hand. The things are bigger than anything you see in the store here in the United States.
Right.
They're humongous. And I was telling Steve, he's got one here, but I grow these cucumbers that the seeds come from Israel, and the seed was developed in Israel, And I had 6 of these cucumber plants, and they produced over 266 pounds of cucumbers a few years back. And so there is something to this. And you have to with when the Lord makes a covenant with you, you know, we are now new covenant people. He's made a covenant with us. He doesn't change his mind. He doesn't, you know, he is not, he can't, he keeps his promises, you know. And it says in the book of the Revelation, when Yeshua returns, it's written on his thighs that it's faithful and true. Well, what's faithful and true? He's faithful and true to what he establishes in his word. He does what he says he's going to do, and he's true to it. It's not something that's negotiable, and especially when you're covenant. Covenant is so much more than people today understand. And truthfully, the only remnant that in American society that we have of covenant is marriage, the covenant of marriage. And even people don't even consider that to be a permanent relationship or permanent covenant anymore. But nonetheless, it is a covenant. And we have a choice as followers of Messiah Yeshua, you know, to take part in the blessings or to be a part of the curses. And I don't want to be on the curse side. You know, and from what we're talking about here, you're saying Yeshua, Jesus, was a Jewish man.
He was,
okay, so he was a Jewish man. He lived in the Jewish land of Israel. Okay, he was crucified, a Jewish rabbi, Jewish teacher, right? They called him rabbi. So they crucified him as that. He died. He ascended to heaven. And he's coming back, according to the book of Revelations. He's coming back to Jerusalem, so he's coming back as a Jewish king.
That's right.
Right? Because the sign that Pilate put up above him was King of the Jews. And he said that Pilate says that he's the King of the Jews, so he's the King of the Jews. It wasn't a title given to him. It was a title given by the man from the Roman Empire. And he is our king. He's returning a Jewish king, and we're going to function in the blessings. It comes to a time of peace when he's here with us at that point. So, in your heart, this is why Israel.
It's why Israel.
Why Israel?
And that's why, as believers, we support them. We stand with them. We have many friends in Israel.
Yes.
That we're supporting monthly. We spend time with them when we go. And it is on the heart of the Lord to bless this people in that land.
Yeah, and then through them, the whole world is blessed.
That's right.
Through Messiah Yeshua. And this is why we do what we do. This is why I minister the way that I minister. This is why Steve ministers with love for his people, of caring for the Jewish people and blessing the Jewish people. They are just like you or me. They need care. They need physical things. They need spiritual things. And the Lord has entered our hearts to minister to them. And I don't believe that there's a higher calling than to do that, really. We are supposed to go forth and make disciples. And these, as Paul said, it was to the Jew first, wasn't it? And so everybody kind of, in Paul's opinion, came after the good news was to be for the Jewish people first. And we are in a time where we're seeing prophecy that the Lord has written in Isaiah. We see that fulfilled. We see all the traits of that Yeshua has brought to, of the traits that were spoken of him, that he's fulfilled these things. And so for me, that's why Israel. I mean, not only in the natural, they're a state that came to be in a day, but prophetically, and then with the Messiah, that's like a threefold cord for me. So that is why Israel for me. So shalom, everybody. Thank you for being with us. We hope this explains to you a little bit better. And I know that there are those that are anti-Semitic that are going to see this. Maybe you need to change your hearts. Maybe you need to read a little scripture and see what it says. Don't go against the Lord That's just, it's not a wise thing, is it, Steve?
No, it's not.
And shalom and blessings to you all.
Very good. Thank you, David.